Okay, this is my midterm project report. I'm going to go the supplemental to the Word document I submitted earlier doing the YouTube video. I'm going to we're going to do it through a PowerPoint. Okay, my name's Alvin Capil. I did Star Wars Battle of the Hoth, the Lego set. I did this cruiser right here, this dude on it. I did parts from it, not all of it yet. The rest of it will be done in the final. Still in the introduction, there were 13 parts total. The upper structure here consisted of 11 parts, so this is the most of the parts that were done. And I also did these back parts there for this project. I chose Star Wars because I like Star Wars. Bought the set off Amazon.com, and I like Lego and Star Wars. I thought I'd combine the two for my SolidWorks project. Design intent. Okay, I'll go over the total number of features and parts. There were 13 parts. Combined number of features was 171. The first part was this stick, which was it's part of the frame as seen here. This part had 9 features, and when it comes to rebuilding this part for future use, it would be rebuilding the length here, so possibly increasing the length. So that was open in the design intent. The major features were the handle and this cover piece, and there was a dome also. Looks like I'm freezing up. Part 2 was this cover piece that was connected to the front of that previous stick. This consists of 5 features. It's a minor part in respect to the cruiser, an entire snow cruiser, but there's 2 of them, and it's like the bumper of the cruiser. Continuously, when designing it, I made sure that there was symmetry. It's an equilateral triangle. All the parts, there's major features of the connectors and the extrude, of course. The third part is this square, this single brick. This had 12 features. This is also a minor part in respect to the snow cruiser. There were 3 connectors that are really important features that are important in respect to Lego World. These 3 connectors. This is from the bottom. This is connects to that stick, and this connects to other bricks on top of it. This 4th part is a regular brick, simple but important yet nevertheless. It had 8 features. There were 1 of these in the entire snow cruiser. There's clearly symmetry involved, especially with the 2 connectors up top and the bottom connector on the bottom. This part requires when it comes to designing this part, I would suggest doing the extrude at the bottom last, this extrude cut last, followed by an extrude out. This 5th part is similar to the last one, but it was larger. This is 15 features. This part is also very fundamental, but very important. Design order is crucial when it comes to designing the lower square connector. Order counts here. The next part, this part is similar to the last one, but had many more features. It had 28 features, especially to do the detail on these edge ribs. In respect to the snow cruiser, this is also very important. Both of these handles played a very large role in connecting to the snow cruiser man. So this is how that was his controls to drive the vehicle. So it's really important because the Lego guy has to drive it. So make sure he gets one. Beat the rebels. The order is important also. Similar order to the last one. However, there's the rib and these side pieces are connected. The next part is similar to part 4, but has a sweep connected to it. This is also a very crucial part. It may seem minute, however, this hook piece plays a crucial role in connecting it to the upper part of the chassis. So it allows for the cruiser to turn and bend certain degrees, again, to get the rebels. This is a bottom frame piece. It's a circle cut from the other piece. This also had a middle connector, which is a cross cut design. This is one of the few pieces that touch the ground in the entire snow cruiser, so it's really important to the design. This is part 8. Part 9, this is the upper part. This has a more of, it's for physical appeal. It gives the snow cruiser some aerodynamics. It had one connector at the bottom, which is not visible in this PowerPoint slide, and it's a crucial feature just for design purposes. It gives it that look. Creating this was Loft, and it was 2 profiles and a single guide curve. There was a rib at the bottom, which was done by a shell, so I guess the order would be for the design tree: profiles, guide curve, shell, then rivet, and then you would get this important piece to the snow cruiser. The next part's part 10. This had 10 features. In respect to the snow cruiser, these are the handles that connect the upcoming part with part 6, which was the two handles. This part right here. This part had 10 features. It was done in one extrusion initially. Then, in order to preserve design intent and change the length of the handles, one should be able to change these features here, so, and without changing the width of these connectors or affecting them. This is one of the few parts that had link variables and equations. It was necessary here if this one was a little tricky. It was tough to measure certain parts of this one. I'll talk more about measurements and discussion. These are the handles. In previous Lego sets, this is like a loudspeaker, but these are handles that were part of the snow cruiser, where the bottom piece here is where the man holds on, and this connects to those arms we just looked at. To make this, there was 13 features. There was some parts with increase in length. I think there's a fillet here. It allows the Lego man to control the speed of the cruiser if it couldn't move. This is part 12. This is one of the few parts that aren't from the upper part of the chassis, but the lower part. And this connects the upcoming landing gear to the lower chassis, the entire lower structure chassis, which is not included in the midterm project, but will be in the final. In order to make this piece, it required 7 features. It's pretty simple. Initially, I went about this connector to a spline, but then I think I switched up to arcs. It has 3 major parts: the block extrusion, the connector, and the bottom connector, bottom piece. It's a minor part, but plays an instrumental role in connecting the landing gear. This was one of the more intricate parts, along with the previous part. This part consists of 22 features and is a major part in the cruise and landing gear. I developed it by doing a side profile initially, followed by a draft, and then a rib, and then this was a basic extrude, tombstone, triangles, and this is possibly the most important part because this is how it connects it to the rest of the set. And this is just the Lego connector. On to discussion. I'll just be talking. The general issue that I encountered mostly was measuring every nook and cranny. Certain pieces were really small and encompassed many features. Example of this was the landing gear, which is this, and part 6. this one. Continuously, certain feature functions, such as the whole wizard, weren't used because none of them really required the whole wizard. Continuously, certain parts of the lower structure were left out, as I discussed earlier, such as the lower chassis, which was big. That I designed most of it, and it's like 100 features itself, and I didn't import it part of the midterm project, but put it in the final assembly in the final project. When it comes to discussing converted geometry and on-edge relationships, that was really important feature in learning and developing the midterm project. Initially, skills I had at the beginning of the semester wouldn't be adequate enough to develop this Lego snow cruiser, and especially the converted geometry, because it saves so much time. On-sketch relationships also save time when developing new features in respect to developed parts. But when it comes to improving the design of the snow cruiser, I would have built the parts in assembly rather than individually. This would therefore limit the parts, certain parts, from being measured, because it would give consistency. Also, I think improving it can come from playing with the toy. I found that certain bricks could have been improved, or additional bricks could have been added. But I suppose that would increase the weight of the Lego Snow Cruiser. I talk about this a little bit in the document I also submitted. For example, so certain parts could be thicker, I mentioned, and this comes from experience in the toy rather than just measuring it. I'm happy with how this project turned out. I think it's pretty accomplished. I had fun playing with the Legos, especially, and measuring them. They came with awesome little action figure Lego people, and thanks for listening.